Welcome to ETH Daily, a daily briefing on the latest in Ethereum. Here's your latest for Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. The second block parameter only fork goes live on Ethereum. Morgan Stanley files for an Ethereum ETF. The Ethereum phone supports eSIM, and the Ethereum ecosystem hits a new all-time high in TPS throughput. All this and more starts right after this message. This episode is sponsored by Archive, an Ethereum-aligned data layer for Web3. Archive merges guarantees of blockchain with the performance and flexibility of traditional databases. Find out more at archive.network/daily. The second block parameter-only fork is now live on Ethereum mainnet. The upgrade went live on Tuesday at epoch number 419072. The lightweight block parameter-only fork is an upgrade introduced by EAP 7892, which solely adjusts two parameters. The second BPO fork increases the blob target from 10 to 14 and raises the maximum blob limit from 15 to 21. The expansion of blob capacity further reduces Layer 2 transaction costs. BPO forks are designed to balance the bandwidth constraints of Sol stakers with the growing data availability needs of Layer 2 solutions, enabling more scalable blob transactions. Since BPO forks don't require a hard fork, they can be activated for scaling as needed. Investment bank Morgan Stanley filed a new Form S-1 with the SEC to gain approval for its Morgan Stanley Ethereum Trust, which will directly hold spot Ether. The filing's approval is required before trading of the ETF can begin. The proposal also plans to stake a portion of the fund's ETH holdings to generate yield. No specific ticker, listing exchange, or custodian was mentioned in the filing. Over 6.2 million Ether, worth nearly $2 billion, is currently held across 9 primary spot Ethereum ETFs. BlackRock's iShares Ethereum Trust ETF currently leads with over 3.6 million ETH. The Freedom Factory released ETHOS version 4.1.4 for the Degen 1 device, a significant update to its open-source Ethereum mobile operating system featuring a new ETH Global eSIM app, which allows users to purchase mobile data using crypto without the need for credit cards or KYC. The update also upgrades the chat, or computer helping a Degen AI assistant, which introduces voice-to-text capabilities via hardware buttons and contextual screen awareness to help with on-chain actions like token swaps. The release also features app firewalls and a system-level toggle to completely opt out of Google services. And lastly, the Ethereum ecosystem, including Layer 2 networks, has hit a new peak throughput of 58,786 transactions per second in the last 24 hours. Lighter, a perpetuals-focused Layer 2 app chain, continues to lead the charts with about 58,311 transactions per second, followed by Base with a TPS of 84. In other news, Tony Worshchader releases a live tracker for MEV Boost auctions, Rocket Pool releases Smart Node version 1.18.8, and Bitmine buys an additional $100 million worth of Ether. This has been a roundup of today's top news stories in Ethereum. You can support this podcast by subscribing and following us at ETH Daily. Also subscribe to our newsletter at ethdaily.io.